Everyone, welcome back to Breslov Efrat here at the beautiful Shira David. Shua Tov L'Kulam. Okay, and we're going to start our lesson in Mitzvah Hashem today again with Siyata D'Shmai, of course, Likutey Halachos, and we're learning Halachos Tefillin. Halacha Hey, and today we're up to Yud. Baruch Hashem, moving along. Wow, unbelievable. So here the Rebbe says today, B'chol Zeh, all of this. What's all of this? This idea of his chadshus, everything is new, and the arichas Papaim, that we always have to have the savlanut, the patience with everything in life, right? Take everything with a stride, with easy going. We have to be more easy going, more relaxed. Bechinas tefillin. That's all an idea of tefillin. This is all tefillin. Tefillin teaches us these different things. We're going to learn we're going to learn a little bit. We'll learn about the ritzuos, right? They're long, right? To learn how to lengthen things, right? To lengthen my patience, lengthen my time, right?
So they're not there just a time. Okay.
No, nothing is just there for anything purpose. Everything has a deeper meaning. All right. Shein bechinas harichas hapayim. Shu bechinas, and that's an aspect of awakening of the meichen, awakening to waken up our minds, to constantly wake up our minds. Our minds are, they're asleep. We get up in the morning, the mind is. You have to startle the mind a little bit. Remember we learned about the ra'amim, right? The thunder is there to make us. Then we learned about the machlokes between the tzaddikim, right? That's there again to startle the mind. And when we startle the mind, then what happens? And then we cause the mind to send messages down to the heart. Remember we learned that, right? It sends messages down to the heart. So the tefillin, that's really the purpose of the tefillin. The tefillin is trying to get us in the right mind frame, so when we start to daven, we could say the words. When we say the words, we cause that thunder in the mind, right? So tefillin is an idea of the meichen, to wake up the mayat. You understand? And the whole idea of the new life that we constantly draw, the recognition of the new life. See, we have new life all the time, but the problem is we don't always recognize it, right? So it's helping us to draw the recognition of the new life that we constantly have. Tefillin helps us do that, to realize we're new people. We're absolutely new people all the time. As we learned so much about. We learned that so much, okay? We learned from the holy elders in our story from the seven beggars. And because they taught us the idea of constantly renewing, right? They taught us the Zion Bleta. They taught us the idea that we have to constantly renew. We're new people. Like he said, the blind man said that he was blind, but he wasn't blind. He's old, but he's young, right? Because he's always constantly renewing to grow closer to Hashem, like we learned on Friday, right? The whole idea is to constantly grow closer to Hashem. All right. He was the blind one, and he was the most special one of all of them. Why? Not necessarily he was the holiest of all of them, but he was the one that we could relate to the most. Right? He's the one that we could relate to and we could strive to connect with the most, because it was at least from something from this world, from when he came into the world. All the other ones we're talking about in the mother's room, in the rechem ima, right? We don't really have any connection to that, right? It's hard to understand that, right? Or to remember when our body was being formed, or to remember when the time of inception was. It's very hard, but we could, so to say, relate. We could try to recall back to that time when we were just born and the umbilical cord was cut. Because again, we were in the world, we were part of the world already, we became in the world, like we said, right? We came out, right? We separated the mayim from the earth. Now we left the water. Now we became part of society with people. Okay. Now we're going to go to the next. So that was this whole idea, and we're closing that off for now. We're going to come back to it, but we're going to now talk about a new topic. We're going to be talking about now the mabarta of the tefillin. So what's the mabarta of the tefillin? So each on the tefillin shel rosh, you have in the back of the tefillin shel rosh, you have a little tunnel. There's a little tunnel way, right? A little passageway that the ritzua goes through, right? Right. This little carved out section, right? We all know what I'm talking about, right? So they call that the mabarta. Okay, right? We're good.
Mm-hmm. It goes through the box.
It goes through the box, the bottom of the box in the back, and on the rosh and on the yad. Right, that little passageway that the ritzua goes through, that the strap goes through, we call that the mabarta. Okay, good. All right, we learned something new today. Good. Okay, okay. Now, so there's a few different things that we could talk about. About this mabarta and really the ritzua, and there's the ritzua that goes through the tefillin. Just a few things, it goes through on the right side and on the left side, right? Right, because it goes through, right? Because you can see the strap goes through on the right and the left, right? And there are different size straps, right? There are straps from the rosh, from the yad, right? And there are different sides, and then from the rosh, it comes down two levels. Right, one side is longer than the other side, right? Right, one goes to the heart, one goes to the tabar. We're going to learn a little bit about that. The tabar, the belly button. Right, one of them goes at least till there, and the other one goes to the heart. They're two different levels. They didn't make a mistake when they would put them out.
Should it go to the heart, or should it go beyond? Can it go beyond where the heart is?
It can go longer, yeah, but it has to go at least till the heart.
At least to the heart. Okay.
You're going to learn about that. We're going to learn. Don't worry. So let's get started. We need a lot of siyata d'shmaya. This is very deep Zayah stuff that we're going to be learning now. So okay, Be'ez Hashem. Okay, so Yud Aleph. Everyone has a place. This is the mabarta, like we explained. That's the passageway in the back of the tefillin. It's like an added-on piece to the back of the tefillin, right? It's just there. Some people would think it's just a practical purpose, right? It's just there to put, like you said before, Mordechai, right? I need to put the strap through, so I need to have a space to put the strap through. No, but it's much more. It's much more. It's much. You're going to see in a moment how much more it really is. Just one moment now with siyata d'shmaya. Hashem oivim haritzua is that the straps they go through. All right. Shehu bechinas me'ever yaboik. Right. So where do we see those words? By Yaakov Avinu, right? Me'ever yaboik, right? When Yaakov Avinu, he went back that famous night, right? And he went back to get his pachim ketana. So it says that he went me'ever yaboik. He went over that body of water. Whatever the yaboik was, we're not exact. I don't know if anyone really knows where the yaboik is. Yossi, do you know where the yaboik is?
Yeah, they say it's right in between Jordan and hold on.
Okay, you know where it is? Yeah.
There's an area called Hamaka there. That's there.
Okay.
It's the Yabok River.
Okay, great. Shkoyach, Yossi. Okay, no. So anyway, but this yabak is a very, very interesting word. Yabak is very interesting because yabak is also the word you can take from it. You can switch it around the bays, the kuf, and you have bucky. Bucky, yabak, bucky. What's the idea of bucky? So Rabbi Nachman says we have to be a bucky b'rotzi, bucky b'shav. We have to be a bucky b'ayil b'nafik. Right? We have to. Right? Rabbi Nachman used different terms for the same thing. Basically, we have to always understand we're like a malach, right? In the dream with Yaakov Avinu, the malachim were oilim v'yardim, they were going up and down. So we have to always know in life how we go up and down. We have to go always up and down, and we have to stay straight while we're going up and down. All right? And we have to understand one very, very important thing. Anytime we're going down, anytime we're going through a yerida, that's just a nisayon, that's just a test. HaKadosh Baruch Hu is testing us at the time of a yerida to see, are we still going to serve Him? He wants to see. Okay, you have everything is going the way you want it to go now. And you're serving me. Great. Now I'm going to take away this thing. I'll take away that. Are you still going to serve me? Hashem is just trying to test us. Anytime we have some kind of a nefila, anytime we have some kind of a yerida, it's only there to test us to see if we can still serve Hashem. That's the only reason we have it. That's why Hashem sends it to us. So He really sends it to us for our benefit. Some people get a little bit bent out of shape, right? They get...
Or is it there to get us to daven more?
No,
To test us.
It's no. To see if I'm going to turn to Hashem, or am I going to turn away from Hashem?
Okay, good.
Am I going to get angry at God? To test, am I going to get angry at God? God, you caused me this. I was doing everything. It was going so good, and now you threw this monkey wrench in. Why? Right? So it's just a test to see, are we still going to serve God, or are we going to turn away from God? Okay? And this is Shara Kavanis in the Drasha Tefillin from the Holy Arizal. Now he goes on to say, Ki haritzuos heim bechinas hamshachas hamoichin shel Tefillin. The ritzuos is drawing the mayach from the Tefillin. There's mind. There's a lot of. We learned that the Tefillin are connected to the Chachma Ilah, right? The Chachma Ilah, right? We learned about the Dalit on the Tefillin. Right, we have a Dalit, right? And we learned about the Yud on the Tefillin, right? There's a part of the Dalit that goes upward, right? There's a part of the Dalit that's flat. There's a part of the Dalit that goes down. A little Yud also. The little Yud, there's a little piece that goes up. That's Chachma Ilah. Then we have the little flat part, and then there's a little piece that goes down. A little tiny Yud.
What's Ilah?
Ilah, up.
Okay.
Up. The Chachma Ilah, the supernal wisdom. We want to connect to the supernal wisdom.
Is it the Vav also? I mean, I always say that that's the Pibor of the Vav.
Vav is always the connector. Vav is the connector. We don't have Vav in the Tefillin.
Right, like as opposed to Yud, meaning isn't that's where you...
Well, a Vav is really a Yud, right? All is a Vav is a Yud that you just bring it down. All the letters really start with a Yud. An Aleph starts with a Yud, an Ayin, they all start with a Yud. And then from the Yud, you can make any letter you want. Right, a pay, right? All the letters they start with the yud. You can stretch them around and do what you want with them, right? But that's another thing. So I'm just trying to show the mayach. This is the what do you call them? Shochas hamoichin shel Tefillin. You're trying to bring the mayach of the Tefillin. The Tefillin are the connector. We also learned on the Tefillin. I don't know if you remember. You have the little hairs that stick up. Right, that's how you can tell if it's a Rashi Rabbeinu Tam Tefillin, if it's on one side, if it's in one over or in the middle. Right, if it's in the middle, it's Rabbeinu Tam. If it's on one over, it's the Rashi Tefillin. So we said that those little hairs are the connectors. Those are the connectors, are like little antennas. Unbelievable, right? They're little antennas. Yossi, do you know that? Yeah, that one guy said to me, he thought it was a mistake. He was going to cut them up. He thought that the cipher, like sometimes the tailor, when they finish doing it, they have to cut their strings off. So, remember that I told you that? I said, no, leave the tefillin just the way they put them together. Don't touch them. Anyway, okay, Shil Bechinas Or HaPonim. That's the Or HaPonim. That's the light of the face, the Oras HaPonim. Okay, now. Shul Bechinas Yud Gimel Tikkunei Dedikna, which is connected to the 13 points of the beard. We're always going to go back to the 13 points of the beard and Tefillin. Why? Because we have Erech HaPayim, right? 13 the 13 points of the beard are connected to the 13 Yud Gimel Midas Harachmim, the 13 attributes of mercy. Right, and the most important one of the 13 attributes of mercy we're learning is Erech HaPayim. Like he says now, Ubechinas Erech HaPayim, which is for this point, for right now, what we're learning in our lesson for our purposes. That's the one that we're focusing on, which is the most important one. Why? Because if you have the Erech HaPayim, if you have that savlanut, like we said, Erech HaPayim is the patience with everything. So then you can always be successful. Right? If you take a deep breath with something, if you take a deep breath and you don't get all upset right away, and you just take a little bit of more time, like we learned, right? We said what's the opposite? You take a deep breath. If If you take that deep breath, that's erech hapayim right there. That's lengthening it. You're not making it short. It's not kaitzer ruach, but you're making it a little longer, right? So you always have to make it a little bit longer. Baal Kain, ritzua, and therefore ritzua, the word ritzua, right? The name, the strap, ritzua, gematria shin ayin. The ritzua, if you add up the letters, you get 370. 370. Isn't it interesting? Each thing, we're gonna darshan out each thing here in tefillin. So it's called a ritzua. Why is it called a ritzua, the strap? Well, because the strap is a ritzua. No. A ritzua is a ritzua because it equals 370. And what's the idea of 370? V'chinas shin ayin nahorin. There are 370 lights, spiritual lights, that you could tap into with your tefillin using the ritzuas of the tefillin. 370 lights, spiritual lights. Okay, shel oiris haponim kamuva. That's what the oiris haponim that we're talking about is, which is connected to the ritzua, which is 370. Hainu ki haritzuas heim arichos. The ritzuas themselves, they're long, and they go from high to low. Again, the same idea that the chesed, we're connecting the chesed from up and high to down. Okay? Shezeh bechinas erech hapayim, that's erech hapayim. Shemamshichin al atzman, that we're drawing upon ourselves when we wear the tefillin and we realize the tefillin, the straps are long. I'm connecting to the light of the ritzuas, the 370, which is the aura panim, which is connected to the 370 spiritual lights. Bechinas harichas haruach, and that's the idea of harichas haruach. Like we said, it's the savlanut, taking my time, having a little patience. Shu bechinas erech hapayim, that's erech hapayim, who are upon him. Shemamshichin idea ritzuas, that's drawn upon us through the ritzuas that we said the ritzua is 370. There are 370 spiritual lights. When we wear the tefillin, we can connect to, and what's the 370 spiritual lights? The aura upon him. So whenever you see here aura upon him, you're talking about the shin ayin oiros, the 370 lights. Are upon them 370, and that's connected to the gematria of ritzua. Ritzua is 370. Interesting?
It's actually 371.
Huh?
371.
And when you're doing a gematria, you can go down one or you can go up one. That's the rule in gematrias. Yeah, right. You can include the kailo, or you can remove the kailo.
It's interesting that it makes it divisible by 7. If you do 371. If you do 371, it's divisible by 7.
I don't hear you.
It's divisible by 7 if you do 371.
Yeah.
So it's 7 times 51.
Yeah.
That's interesting because there's a kavanot Chanukah, She'ah San Yisin, and the Ayin Shin, you say a kavanot Opnei HaMelech.
Yeah.
So Pnei HaMelech is Pnei HaMenorah, the seven kanim.
Yeah.
So it's divisible by 7, and it comes Na, it's like
Okay.
Na times it.
All right, but either way, we're going with 370 here, okay? And then if this is a teaching from the Arizal, the Rav Nassan's bringing us over here. So again, the Arizal is in Tzfas, so you can go and complain to him if you don't like his. I don't know. It's the teaching of David.
No, it's
But you're right. But the rule in gematria is you can either add one, you can subtract one. You can always be. There can be a difference of one, and it'll still work out fine. That's just the rule in gematria.
right. It's like connected to all Panim.
There we go. That's right. That's why you want to connect our Papaim, and that's why Ritzua is 370, our Papaim is 370, and there you have it. Okay? Now, nimtak v'nispatel b'chinas Ritzua bisha. And through that you could get rid of the idea of all the ra of the din in the world. Ritzua bisha, this is what the Zayah brings in the Hakdama to the Zayah. He talks about this idea of the ritzua bisha, shehu ritzua la'alka'a chayava, and which is again the same idea of it's a kino, it's a code name, it's a code word for din in the Zayah. That's what the Zayah brings it in the Hakdama to the Zayah. Okay, shabisham. And from there, that's where all din all judgment and all pain and suffering comes from that, from this idea of the Ritzua Bisha, which is the La'alka Chayava. Okay? V'ayedei zeh bechinas erech apayim shemamshichin ayedei arichas haritzuas, and then you can draw the for yourself the erech apayim through the arichas, through the length of the ritzua. Because again, we said the ritzuas are long, so I'm teaching me that I need to always have erech apayim. I need to always lengthen things, take my time, take that deep breath, don't get upset, don't get fahitz, take your time, take it easy, it'll work out. Nimshachim me'ar hapanim shehem tefillin, which come from the ar hapanim, which we said again is the 370, right? Just to review. And that is from tefillin, that's the mayach, we're drawing the mayach of the tefillin through the ritzua, and that's why the ritzua is very important in the mabarta, that the tefillin goes through is a very, very important part of the aspect of the tefillin. Why? Because we're connecting, Yabak is also the gematria of 112, right? Yabak is 112. So what's the importance of 112? So you have the three shemas, Ekya, Yudke, Vavke, and Adnos. If you put them together, you get 112. What's the significance of those three shemas? That's what the Zayah brings down, that you're connecting from the world of Atzilus. To go from one end of the world of Atzilus to the other end, to bring the Chesed through, you use those three shemas. Those three shemas work. 112. 112 is also Yudke, Vavke, and Elohim, right? Elohim and Yudke, Vavke is also 112. Okay, that's the idea of Chesed and Gvura that come from the tefillin that goes through the mabarta, right? You have the mabarta, you have the ritzua that goes through the right side, the ritzua that goes through the left side. The ritzua that goes through the right side is connected to the Yudke Vavke. The left side is connected to Elohim, which is din, right? Which here you have it on the tefillin going through the mabarta, all connected to the maver hayabak, right? All through this word of yabak.
Meaning Yaakov went across to connect Gvura and Chesed, Ki'ilu. That's why we're not just learning it stopped from there. It's the story.
No. We're here. Rabbi Nachman's teaching the word of Yabak. He's teaching us that Yabak is also the word of Baki.
Yeah.
Right. So you have to be the Baki
Again,
Ba'alacha.
How do you pick any word? Meaning he picked Yaakov because Yaakov was doing something.
He didn't pick the word. These are teachings from Rishim and the Zayah. And the Zayah brings down that this idea of Yabak is these things connected to Tefillin. The Arizal brings it down in the Shara Tefillin, and he's talking about this idea. So Rabbi Nachman is just going with that idea. This is not Rabbi Nachman's idea.
To the story of Yaakov? Is there a connection to the story of Yaakov? I mean, Yaakov was really going, the deeper meaning.
The story, that's a big parsha in the Zohar. If you take a look, it's
Yaakov is a big story.
A big story. That whole story with Yaakov and the Malach, and there's a lot of stuff going on over there. But that's not part of it. Right now, what we're just going to learn, we're learning now the idea of Yabak, Ma'avra Yabak, again, Ma'avra, Mabarta. So he's taking the idea from there. That's where the Zohar gets it from. Me'aver, Mabarta, the whole idea, and then it's Yabak. Why Yabak? And then we just said the reasons why it's Yabak.
And then Ritzua Bisha, I get it. I get what comes from there. And so how do you nimtak the Ritzua Bisha?
With the Ritzua of the Tefillin.
So you could be with the Ritzua of your Tefillin.
Gives you the erech hapayim. You learn the erech hapayim. So when you have that savlanut, which is is a virtue, it's very important. It's mamish really important. It's really important because it gives you time to think. It gives you time to think. In other words, otherwise, rather than reacting real quick and getting all upset right away, it gives you that time, erech hapayim. It gives me time to think things through. So I don't have to be so upset. I realize it's all coming from Hashem. And again, like I started off by saying today, anytime we have any kind of any kind of din in our life, anytime we have any nisayin in our life, it's only there to test us if we're going to still turn to Hashem. That's the only reason we're having any tests in our life. Hashem wants to see, okay, if I take this away from you, if I take that away, are you still going to serve me? Right? So when you understand when you think for a second, if you give yourself a second to think, why is this happening? What's the purpose of this? And really Hashem wants what's really good for me. And I'm only going through this in the filo over here because I'm ready. HaKadosh Baruch Hu is testing me if I'm ready for my aliyah. Otherwise, people think it the other way around. They think that I'm going through this, that Hashem doesn't like me. Hashem's angry at me. Why did you do this to me, Hashem? But realize it's not, Hashem is not angry. He's just testing me to bring me to that next level. Does that make sense, Rabbi Yossi? Yeah? Okay, so that's the Ritzua Bisha. So we're learning the Ritzua that he teaches you the Erech HaPayim. Shkoyach for bringing up that point. Okay. Hashem HaTfilin. Now I can pass by, I can pass over all the problems, all the trials and tribulations of life if I have the midah of Erech HaPayim. If I have that, which I get that from the Ritzua. Why the Ritzua? Because Ritzua is 370. 370 is connected to the Oros. The Oros Hapanim. Oros Hapanim is connected to is how I can when I have that Or Hapanim, which is the mayach of the Tefillin, which I bring into me, and I can internalize that, which helps me with my Erech HaPayim. And if I have my Erech HaPayim, then I can be over on all these Yisurim, no problem. It'll help me out, and because I'll understand that it's really all you, Hashem, and you're only testing me, Hashem, for my ultimate good. Not the way people normally perceive it. People normally perceive it. Hashem is punishing me. I don't know why you're doing this to me, Hashem. People get angry at God. But if we understand that really God is doing everything for us for our ultimate good, so then, and you can have that patience towards every situation you find yourself in. So then that's the secret to success. All right. So any questions on this? I'm sorry it's a little bit difficult today, but it's okay. Here we go. Mamtikin oisam, and you can sweeten the things. You can sweeten anything by recognizing where it came from. Like the example I like to always give is the dentist, right? You go to the dentist, right, and you pay the dentist a lot of money, and he's causing you a lot of pain, right? People don't generally punch the dentist in the nose, right? But wait a minute, look what you're doing. You're making that noise, right? I can't stand that noise, right? That zzz, right? That right? And he's doing it, but I'm paying it. Why? It's uncomfortable. I know he's doing something good for me. I know at the end it's going to be good. Okay, it's painful now. So if I could realize if my dentist with that cuckoo noise is doing something good for me, and so how can it be that Melech Malchi Amlochem HaKadosh Baruch Hu is not doing something for me that in the end it's going to work out good as well? That I don't necessarily have to pay a lot of money for, right? Anyway, okay, does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. Ayin lahem koyach levatel lemenaya me'avodas ein lahem koyach levatel lemenaya me'avodas habayri yisbarach. So then they don't have the ability to prevent you from serving Hashem. In other words, when you have your tefillin, the main thing that you know that'll keep you safe from everything and anything, because you'll always recognize it's coming from Hashem. Coming from Hashem. Rav David Spiegel, my rabbi in Cedarhurst, he should be well. His uncle was Rav Elchanan Spector. Rav Elchanan Spector, and when they told Rav Elchanan about the Nazis, and they have to run, he has to take things that he needs. So Rav David, he said to me, you know what he did, Rav Elchanan did? He took his Rashi tefillin, he put it in his right pocket. He took his Rabbeinu Tam tefillin in his left pocket. He said, I'm ready to go. You're not taking anything else? No, I just need my tefillin. I just need my tefillin. My Rashi, Rabbeinu Tam tefillin, I'm safe. Everything's going to be good. Unbelievable, right? I'm just saying that over here because again, this is when you realize that nothing has the capability of taking you away from serving Hashem. When you have your tefillin, you understand? And there's nothing can stop you, because if you have that Erech HaPayim with you, and you have the Oros HaPanim with you all the time, then you can always serve the Rebbeinu Shalom. You have that recognition. Okay, lebechinas harichas hapayim dahainu laharich ruchai al kol davar. Notice that take that deep breath on everything, on anything. V'lei tiksa ruchai, and don't shorten your breath. Don't have a short breath. Short breath is no good, right? You start panting, right? It's no good. Take it easy. Take long, deep breaths. Deep breaths. Breathe slowly. Take long, deep breaths. Think it through. It's from you, Hashem. And then you can be mamish, be saved. Mishum yisurim amaniya shebaylam klal. Don't have tiksa ruach from any kind of pain and troubles that you have in the world. Rather, what you should do is do what you can do. Study more Torah, more Avodah, and watch. You'll see the Yeshua of Hashem. Because again, the whole purpose of that thing that starting, only came about because Hashem was testing you. So what should you do? What's the antidote for it? More Torah, more Avodah. Don't call this one, don't call that one, don't waste your time. Know that it's coming from Hashem. Just involve yourself in more Tehillim, more Torah, more Avodah, more Isbaidas, and watch, you'll see the Yeshua. Until you can mamish pass through whatever the situation is. And to nullify them, Arichas Apayim tells me not to look at these things. I don't have to pay any attention to them. I don't have to pay any attention. I know it's just there as a distraction. It's trying to distract me. How can I get rid of this distraction? More Torah, more Avodah. That's because HaKadosh Baruch Hu is just testing me over here. So then if they can be nullified, of course, on their own, because they're only there in order to test me. So if I pass the test goes away. Okay? Ki kol ha'yisurim b'hamaniyas einam bayim ki im b'shvil nisayim. That's why I told you before, but again, Rav Nosson says it even much better than I do. All the yisurim and all the maniyas, anytime you have any kind of pain or any kind of obstacle that comes in your way in serving God, anytime, anyone, whatever you could think of, there are millions of different possibilities, right? Einam bayim ki im b'shvil nisayim. They're only coming to you because of a test. Hashem is testing you. Is that amazing? It's truly amazing. This statement here is truly amazing. Anytime we have any kind of problem, anything that goes against my ratzon, I want this, I'm not getting what I want. Anytime that happens, it's there just to test me. You ever think of that?
To see what?
Am I going to see it's you, Hashem, serve you, Hashem, learning more Torah, getting closer to you, Hashem? Hashem wants to test us to see are we ready? Are we ready for the next level? Before we're ready for the next level, HaKadosh Baruch Hu tests us. He lowers us down to see if we're ready. What's the matter?
No, Yossi just told me that. I asked him about something, and he said you have to increase your tefillah.
Oh, you see that, Yossi?
But I think,
Huh?
but I think it also points us in the direction of what we need to fix sometimes.
Yeah.
I mean, if I'm getting impatient with my wife,
Yeah, okay.
so I have to recognize that I'm being impatient with my wife, and then I need to work on my patience. So I think that's a test.
Yeah. He said any kind of thing.
Everything.
Right.
Where when your wife tells you something that you didn't want to hear, right? So that's a test.
Right.
That's part of, now tell Hashem about that. So study more, pray more to Hashem. Then your wife will start to tell you different things that you want to hear. Perhaps.
Well, if I fix my patience, if I rectify it,
Yeah.
then I'm more patient with her, then that test doesn't show up again.
No, right, because again, if you work on your Erech HaPayim, right?
Yeah.
So when she said something to you, you don't right away answer her back.
Right.
Yeah, but he has an interesting point. I mean, she says something, and you have that internal, I'm worked up now.
Mm-hmm.
Now, at that moment, I could respond, and I could,
Erech HaPayim.
So you're saying take a deep breath, and that's that. He's saying is, will I get to the point where I won't even get worked up?
No, where she won't, where he said where she won't say that.
She'll say something, but it won't elicit that same kind of physiological.
Right. Well, that's connected to the blind guy in the story, right? He didn't pay attention. He was blind to all these different things in the world. He was blind to everything, all this nonsense of the world. He was blind to it. Any kind of these things, what anyone said to him, anything, he was blind. He didn't want to pay any attention to that.
So if my wife says something, I'm blind to the words?
No. You don't do it in a disrespectful way.
No, I understand.
Yeah, but you don't have to be. Don't get upset by it.
Don't take
Right.
it personal.
Don't get upset by it. You say, "Oh, okay, you're right. I'll work on that. Whatever." Yeah. Don't go against her. It's hard. We wanted the ego says, "Hey, wait. Look what she just said to me." Want to say something, Ellie? Please.
More than it is a different, slightly different level. But what happens is, at certain point, you actually welcome
The challenge.
aggravation.
Yeah.
Because it wakes you up. Everything can be a wall, or everything can be a window. And what happens is, usually I turn the aggravation into a wall. I don't see God anymore. Right? I just see the aggravation, and I get all worked up, and my immediate reaction is to react. But at some point, when you realize that there's value in that experience itself, like unfortunately, this is the way we respond, right? God is basically tapping us saying, "Did you think about me today?" Right? And it's coming from this period, because I begin to see myself, I begin to see what I'm really made of, and then I realize it was just God talking to me in a way that maybe I don't like. Like sometimes parents talk to kids in a way that the kid doesn't like, because he wants yes and he wants it now.
Right.
But the parent always has the child's best interest in mind, but the child doesn't know that. So you're getting a sort of an aggravation, and you sort of step, so wait, now I understand where I am, and God gave me this too, and it's an opportunity to see God and see my wife in a different way. There's lots of opportunities here, not just aggravation.
But we do say the lately they saw you.
Yeah, we don't want it.
We don't. They're going to be there. Please, Hashem.
Right, in the real world,
They're going to come. They're going to come anyway.
Right.
Well, I don't have to ask for them.
Right.
Right? David HaMelech taught it. He said, I don't have to. The tests are going to come. The tests are going to come.
So
Yeah.
my son,
Yeah.
who is spiritual in his own way, and he gave me this little strategy
Yeah.
that if Ellen is aggravating me, that I should speak low and slow. In other words, sometimes when I react, I react and that's just bringing that out. But if
You get for hits.
my wife wasn't feeling well this weekend, and so I would just talk to her low and slow. And so I think,
It's the same thing.
no, I know, but you say we need to pray for it.
Well,
When I
your
prayed
wife's-
for it, my son showed up, and he taught me a technique to help repair that, and it's been amazing.
Okay, so it's
That's good. But again, I would just go a little bit deeper. That's a very good tip, even for me. Like right now, just to hear that, low and slow, I can get behind that. But I would say even that carrying around that inside, that angst on the inside. So last night my wife said something, and it disturbed me. But okay, I followed Mordecai. I did low and slow. It wasn't a Baruch Hashem or anything. But this morning I'm davening, and it's back in my head. How could it be? Well, how is this right? I wanted to do, and I didn't say anything. It's just it's a battle with Yossi.
Yeah.
At this point, I'm just taking Yossi on, but I'm taking Yossi on. I mean, you're right. So I'm not, exacerbating the situation, but meaning we want to get to the root of it, where.
No, because you were davening so well, so the Yetzer puts that thing in your head to make you all to confuse you.
That's right.
So we learned about that. What you do, just change your thought.
Right. That's right.
Shivisi Hashem lenegdi somewhere. I'm standing in front of you, Hashem.
Right.
Change the thought.
Compassion is the word that I use
On yourself.
for myself and also for my spouse or my children or whoever.
So he says now, Kishu chazak bedata yamarich ruchai ve'enem mistakel aleim klal. So when a person's strong in his mind, he has this. He fixed this in his mind, and it's constantly in his mind. This idea umarich ruchai, and he takes that long breath. He takes that long breath. Slow, slow, takes that long breath. He doesn't look at any, he doesn't pay any attention to anything. He just, like we said, the same idea with the blind guy. He was blind, but he wasn't blind. He was only blind to all of the things that were going to try to take him away from Hashem. He only wanted to be close to Hashem. If it was something he could see to bring him closer to Hashem, he looked at it. He paid attention to it. If it was something that was going to drive him away from Hashem, he didn't pay any attention to that. By day then is patlim and melafanav, and then memela it's going to go away, because again, they say if someone is bothering you and they're yelling at you, whatever, you don't answer them back, so they stop, right? They stop. You can't fight with yourself, right? Although some people try, right? If there's an argument, someone's standing and screaming at you, and you say to them, "Thank you," it's over.
I use the analogy of tug of war.
Tug of war, okay.
If you don't tug, he can't do anything on the other end.
No, if you let go, he falls down.
That's what I mean. There's no game anymore. There's no. You disattach from him. You're.
Right. It takes two to tango, right? They say, right?
Absolutely.
Right. Same idea. You need two. You need two, but if you don't, okay, there we go. Okay, okay. Arichas haritzua. So here we go again. The ritzua, again, the idea that we're learning about the ritzua, the length of the ritzua, so bechinas hamshachas or apanim. Now we understand what Rav Nasa means. Hamshachas or apanim. That's drawing the or apanim, which is the 370, right? 370 lights from the gematria of ritzua again. Bechinas harichas apayim. That's the same idea. It's one of the same with erech apayim. So every time you see the ritzuas, so you're tefillin, and they're long, you realize you're connecting ritzuas 370, connecting to the arapanim. The arapanim will help me to recognize it's all you, Hashem. It's the light that I need to recognize every situation in my life is coming from Hashem. By days and nispatel bechinas ritzua bisha, and then I can get rid of all of the din, all of the problems in my life. Shemisham kol yisurim, that's where all the yisurim come from. So you have ritzua and ritzua bisha, and you have the ritzua that goes through the mabarta. Okay? Ki hakol nimtak nisbatel leidei bechinas harichas apayim. Everything can be sweetened and it can be nullified through erech apayim. Isn't it amazing we're learning here? Right? Erech apayim can really fix anything. It's the secret to any kind of all success.
So what I also meant to add is that my low and slow goes wherever I am.
Okay.
If I went with the children, or whether I'm in a store and I want something from customer service, it's always now low and slow.
Okay.
So it's applying patience to.
Well, low means you're not getting angry.
Right.
You're speaking low, softly.
Right.
So you're not getting worked up. That's what low means. And
Right.
slow is the erech apayim. Take your time saying it. Don't. Yeah. So it's really, you're saying the same thing.
Yeah, absolutely. But that's my way, and because everything in the world is so fast.
Right.
It's like,
fast-paced world, right?
And the way we can slow people down is by being slow.
Yeah. If someone's all upset and you speak to them low, softly, and with a nice tone, and you speak to them in a very calm manner, so you right away you can always fix the situation.
Well, the paradigm I had was the louder I get, the more I'll get.
Well, yeah.
That didn't work.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that say that.
The more tourists you'll get.
There's a lot of people that say that, right?
Right. That's the opportunity.
People think they have to threaten people and have to do this and that and the other to get through it. It's not going to work. People don't like that. People don't respond well because then they become all defensive, right?
Right.
Yeah. All right. So it doesn't work. Okay. Good. V'zeh bechinas mabarta shel tefillin shesham oivrim haritzuas, and that's the mabarta. So we said the mabarta is the back section of the tefillin. You can see on David's wearing his tefillin. So you see where the ritzua goes through. That's called the mabarta, and that's where the tefillin. That's where the ritzua, the strap, goes through. This ritzua, which he said is or upon him, goes through the mabarta. Shehu bechinas mavra yabak. Like Yossi told us where it is, where it's located, right? Okay, shkoyach. Maybe we'll go there one day. Okay, but canal ki yabak hu gematria havaya elikim kamuva. Okay, like I said to you before, yabak is the gematria of yud k vav k and elikim together. right? Yud Kei Vav Kei and Elikim, right? You want to add it up? You take his word for it? Do we take his word for it? You want to do the math? Let's do the math. You want to do the math? Let's do the math. Here we go. So we have a mem which is 40. We have a yud which is 10 is 50. We have a lamed which is 30. So we have 80, right? 85, right? And 1 is 86, right? 86 and then 26 is what? 112. Okay, there you have it. Okay, kamuva. Okay, and we know that the Yud Kei Vav Kei, which is connected to Chesed, and we know that Elikim is connected to the Midas Hadin, right? So the Rebbe says over here, V'zeh bechinas b'Hashem ha'halel b'Elikim ha'halel. Both, whether the situation of my life is dealing with the Yud Kei Vav Kei, which is Chesed in my life, I'll praise Hashem. Everyone can do that. That's not a big deal, right? Everyone knows to praise Hashem when things are going well in their life. But B'Elikim ha'halel, even when things are going the other way, I'll still praise Hashem because I realize that by praising Hashem is how I'm going to get out of the mess. I realize it's you, Hashem, that sent me this problem. It's not this guy. It's not that guy. It's not this tax department. No, it's you, Hashem. You sent it to me. So if I turn to you, Hashem, and I dive into you, Hashem, and I realize it's you, Hashem, that's my salvation. All right? We have to recognize Hashem, come closer to the Rabbeinu Shalom, Tamid, bein betuvay ubein ba'akoy. Baku. Whether it's good or whether I find it that it's not bad, chas v'shalom, bein ba'aliyah or bein b'yerida. Right? That the Rebbe said that you have to be a baki ba'aliyah and a baki b'yerida. Right? You have to know how to come close to Hashem. And when you're far from Hashem, when you're going down and in Yerida, you have to know how to stay close to Hashem to get to be able to rise back up again. Like we just said, Kamuva Batayra Mia Isha Chafetz Chaim in Likutey Imran, that's lesson 33. In Likutey Imran, you can see it in letter 1. Okay, any questions so far? Okay, let's go weiter. And this is what Rabbi Nachman teaches. Yabak means, which we said is the same letters as Baki. Yabak, you take the Beis, the Kuf, and the Yud. Instead of the Yud, the Beis, and the Kuf, you switch them around, and then you have the word Baki. Right, a professional. Baki is a professional. Baki is an expert. Okay, and you have to be what? An expert b'halacha. Hamur b'Torah Korea as Yeshua in the Likutey Imran, which is Torah 6. We learned that lesson. I don't know if you remember. Letter 4. Okay, which is letter 4. Ayin Sham Shekasav Sham Shekol Misha Reitza Lasa is Tshuva Tzarich Liyos Baki b'halacha. Anyone that wants to do tshuva has to be baki b'halacha. So, okay, we know that you have to be a baki b'halacha if you're going to be about tshuva, right? Because if you don't know halacha, so you're constantly doing mistakes, right? Right? That's why the Rebbe says you have to be kol hashayin halachas b'chol yayin muftach leishu ben elam haba, right? That's what we say every morning, right? Anyone that studies halacha every day is guaranteed to be a ben elam haba, right? It'll be a person which will have a place in the world to come. Why? Because again, if you're studying halacha, you know what to do. Right, you know what the greatest tool that the Sitra Achra likes to use is he's constantly causing us to be doubtful. Did I do this right? Did I not do this right? Did you do this right? Did you not do this right? He brings doubt in our mind, and the doubt that he brings in our mind causes us to always be worried. Right? The doubt, I'm worried I did this right, I didn't do it right. But if you're always studying halacha, so you know what's right, you know what's wrong, you know how to deal with things, and that's the best thing. But here we're saying Baki b'halacha is to understand the halacha, but Baki b'rotzi, Baki b'shoiv. Right? And another idea, so that was halacha mamish, right? Study halacha every day. The Rebbe said you have to study. Chazal tell us to study halacha every day, like we said. But also Rabbi Nachman's teaching us here, Baki b'rotzi, Baki b'shoiv. Know how when things are going well, and you're close to Hashem, right? That you're baki barotzi and things are you're going okay. You have that, but and then no b'shav when I'm coming back, we have to understand how to stay in line, whether ba'aliyah, bein v'yarida. I have to always know to stay close to Hashem. If I stay close to Hashem, I'll be successful.
I'm not sure which one's easier.
They're both hard. Yossi, you have to, but you have to.
But you have to, you have to do it. But they're for different reasons. Like that's a finish I just heard from you.
Please.
When you're up, all right, look, Hashem, wow, thank you. You gave me all this. Like in that sense, it's almost easier.
Halo b'Hashem, v'balel b'Elokim. Right.
You might think it's all you, but okay. So like in that sense, it's hard, but it's easier because okay, these things are going well for me. So like, okay, thank you, Hashem. When it's bad, you're saying, look, the only real way out of it, this is just not for your own benefit. Your only real way out of it, Yas, is to acknowledge that Hashem put you here, not this guy or that. Meaning, don't play what we would call like victim mentality.
Yeah.
Don't play the victim. It's this guy, you because of that, or it's not nothing to do with that. So at least focus on Hashem, and and why He put you here, and
Not at least focus on Hashem. Focus on Hashem.
Focus on Hashem, right?
The other thing that helped me was that it's knowing and paying that it's going to go up and it's going to go down. On King Solomon's ring, it says, "This too shall pass." Whether it's up or down, it's going to pass.
Yeah, this ring says v'gam zeh ya'avor.
Yeah, that was his ring, right?
Yeah, v'gam zeh ya'avor. Again, that's Erech
Right, but
HaPayim.
that's not okay. But this too shall pass isn't thanking Hashem. You're right.
Well, by thanking Hashem, it will
I mean,
pass.
there's guys that can be wrong, but like that seemingly get a high from these patches. I mean, I don't know if it's meaning they'll like if I were to study their brains and the dopamine that gets released.
Yeah.
They can almost bring themselves to this. Wow, Hashem, I can see it now. I get it. Why you did this to me? Why I'm in this position? Why I'm like this?
Yeah.
And they're happier than me and you, and
Right.
we're happy.
No, right. But when they recognize it's Hashem,
When they recognize it's Hashem,
Yeah.
then I can be
Yeah.
b'simcha no matter what.
You can be b'simcha no matter what. But again, you're not always going to be b'simcha, right?
I just need that Erech
yeah.
HaPayim. I just need to take it easy. I need to take it easy, take that long breath, take that deep breath, recognize what is the situation, analyze the situation, right? Rather than just reacting, first sit there for a moment, analyze the situation, recognize, wait a second, what's really going on here? What really is this? Now let me really assess this situation. Is it really what I think it is, or is it maybe something else? And then that's that time to thank HaKadosh Baruch Hu, right? B'Hashem ahalel, b'Elokim ahalel, right? That's what the David HaMelech said. Yeah. Okay, so that's the Bucky. Okay, me writes lots of tshuva tzarich as a Bucky b'rotzi, Bucky b'shav, Bucky ba'aya, Bucky b'nafik. Whether I'm going in or I'm leaving, right? Ba'aya means that means to enter in. Right, benafik means to leave. Either way, up and down. Bucky baya, Bucky baratzi, Bucky b'shav. It doesn't matter. It's all the same thing. Know that you always have to be connected to Hashem. And now he says, "V'bechinas masha kosav im esek shemayim shamata v'atzia sha'ol hineka." Right, famous words of David HaMelech in Kuf Lamed Tes, pasuk Ches. David HaMelech says, "Im esek shemayim shamata." If I go up to Shemayim. If I'm searching up the Shemayim, I know Hashem, you're there, right? You're there, Hashem. But if I find myself, chas v'sholem, in the pits of doom, if I find myself there, I know that you're there also. You're there with me. It doesn't matter where I may find myself, you're always going to be there. Wow. If I can go up all the way to Shemayim, you're there with me. And if I go down to the, okay. Oy, David HaMelech. V'hainu shetzrichim lirois lizkarev l'Hashem Yisbarach tamid b'chol makom shu. Come close to HaKadosh Baruch Hu regularly, all the time, no matter what level you find yourself on. And we know in the Tanya says that every day a person will find himself on the three levels, right? There are moments in the day you may find yourself as a tzaddik. There are moments in the day you may find yourself as a Beinani, and there are many times in the day that you may find yourself chas v'shalom as a Rasha. What?
The Tanya
Russia.
says,
Yeah.
The Baal Tanya says that?
Yeah.
In the course of the day.
Within the day. Within the day, yeah. Yeah, you'll find yourself doing things. So here we're saying here that you have to know how to serve Hashem. Whether I'm in the tzaddik moment, I'm in the Rasha moment, it doesn't matter. I have to know how to serve Hashem to bring me back. Well, the Tanya says to be the Beinoni. Right?
Yeah.
Okay. What?
Yeah, it's a little different than that.
No, but it's the same thing.
Yeah.
Isn't this the safe ever shine?
What?
So,
Bein ba'aliyah, bein b'yerida. It doesn't matter if I'm going up or going down. I know HaKadosh Baruch Hu, you're always there. V'afilu im hu b'shol tachtiyas. Even the person finds himself in the lowest place. He finds himself in the lowest place. Gam sham yochel is karev elav yizbarach b'bechines va'atzia she'ol hi neka. It doesn't matter where I find myself, I can always come close to you, Hashem. That's really the whole purpose of all situations we find ourselves in life. Okay, v'zeh that when a person has this idea he has this the what do you call it? He's a baki ba'alach, and he understands the baki b'rotzi, baki b'shav, hu b'chinas arichas apayim. This person's living his life, and he can have that through arichas apayim. If he has the arichas apayim, if he understands that no matter what situation, it's HaKadosh Baruch Hu causing me to be in this situation. If I have that situation, so then I understand that's through erech apayim.
This is the running and returning.
Yeah, running and returning.
Okay.
Laharich ruchay tamid kol yamei chayav. To constantly have that savlanut, to have that patience with everything. Tamid yamei chayav, all the days of my life. Yia eich sheyia, no matter how they will be. It doesn't matter. I will always need to take on this idea of the erech apayim. Take it easy, stop for a moment, analyze the situation, assess it, see it with the situation, understand that Hashem is the one that sent you. Don't get angry at the guy. Don't get angry at this person. You get an email, don't be upset at the email. Hey, take it easy. It's you, Hashem. And when you realize it was Hashem, it's a whole different thing. V'loi yipo mishum davar shabaylam. A person shouldn't fall from anything. B'yaschil tamid, constantly start again. Again, like we learned the situation, right? This thing happened this moment, but now it's a new moment. So this moment, hey, it didn't happen yet. You understand? Wait, he just told me that then, but now it's a new moment. That's in the past. What happened now? He didn't say it again. Now it's a new moment. So no, he's just Rav Noson's giving us different techniques that we already learned before, and how you can have the erech apayim, right? How to have the erech apayim. When I realize, wait a second, this happened a moment ago, but it didn't happen again right now. So if it didn't happen right now, so it's a new situation. I'm a new person. Everything is new, so I don't have to be upset about it. Okay, v'yaschil tamid lizkarev elav yizbarach, and start, always come close to Hashem. V'chein loy yi'af v'lo yiga li'olam. A person shouldn't get tired. He shouldn't get a chalishas hadas. And he should just always be close to Hashem. Afilu im zocha la'aliyah gedola madrega gavoya. Even if the person was able to come to a great level. A great level. Afal pichein yada shegam b'shemayim nimsa Hashem yisbarach. Remember, up there, it's Hashem. See, sometimes we get so involved in our learning. We get so involved in the sugya that we're learning, we forget it's Hashem. We get so involved in the material itself that you forget the Hashem. You understand that? Can you imagine that? The person, they're sitting in yeshiva and they're discussing who this talus belongs to. And they're fighting back and forth, right? And they're fighting back and forth. Hey, wait a second, Hashem is part of this picture. Remember, it's you, Hashem. Remember Hashem. Okay, right? I'm studying Torah, I'm flying, everything's great. Remember, I'm doing this in order to connect to you, Hashem. Even though it seems to me that I reached up to Shemayim, I'm so connected, I'm studying, wow, I'm so involved in the material that I'm studying. Adainu tzorich levakesh es Hashem alahascha mechodesh. You have to always search out Hashem and start again. Get closer to Hashem. Realize that Hashem gave you the ability to study this material, to come closer to Him through this material. Realize that you came closer to Hashem through the material. Start again. Ki gam b'shemayim nimsa Hashem yizbarach, because Hashem is also in Shemayim. Isn't that amazing? That even God is in heaven. Of course God's in heaven. But sometimes we get so involved in our learning, we forget about Hashem. That's the problem. Right? You ever happen? You ever happen? Like you get so engrossed in your learning, you're so involved in your learning, you forget the purpose of why you're learning. You forget the whole purpose, you forget Hashem. But that's the whole thing, to constantly remember Hashem through the day. Always remember Hashem. And that's starting again all the time, always remembering it's Hashem, Hashem, Hashem. Rabbeinu B'Torah Ki Tetzei LaMilchama, which is lesson 82 in Likutey Halachos Shekol Zeh Hu Bechinas Arichas Papaim Shezoichen Aidei Mitzvah Tefillin. All this you can accomplish through the mitzvah of Tefillin, through Arichas Papaim, through the Ritzua, through the Mabarta. And I think we'll stop over here for today, right? Mm-hmm. Anyone have any questions before we stop? Any comments? Any questions?
What do you mean by through X? Through the Mambatra?
The Mabarta is that...
No, it's like, you're saying we can fix the... If you say it again, you said something through this, through Tefillin, through the Mambatra, through...
Right.
What does that mean when you say through something?
Using the tefillin, using the ritzua, the strap of the tefillin, recognizing the strap is long, so I have to lengthen things. We have to constantly lengthen things. When I realize that that everything is required to lengthen. If I lengthen it, I can connect to the 370, which is the gematria of the ritzua, and if I can connect to the 370, which is the arapanim, that's my Yeshua. Thank you.